Surprise, surprise, we have yet another set of duplicate one-of-ones. This time it's not related to Panini. It is from Topps/Fanatics from Bowman Chrome 2023 baseball. We have two superfractors, and there's a few things here that I want to talk to that interlink with some other news in the last few days regarding Fanatics, including comments from Michael Rubin himself, as well as some updates from Darren Ravel, because there's some things here that I think people should be really, really concerned about. And it's one of those things that's going to serve as a reminder to you all that if you are a customer, you need to be speaking your mind, because now is not the time to sit back and just be happy that Panini is out the door, because it looks pretty concerning to me. Now, to kick things off, this was brought to my attention through Brett Kleiman on Twitter, as did many others, because this was shared and then basically shared everywhere. But there's two cards here that were, hit by two separate breakers that are, in fact, a duplicate set of one-of-ones. The superfractors for Victor is Turris, I believe is how you pronounce his surname. If I got that wrong, please forgive me. He is a catcher. You can see here, first one was hit by Filth Bomb Breaks, and then the second one, I believe the store is called Real Sports Cards of Minnesota. Someone, again, correct me if I'm wrong. But they were both caught on camera and are, in fact, a duplicate one-of-one. Checking out the checklist, there is no opportunity for a second one-of-one to be there. They are, duplicates. They are true duplicates, and it looks like a pretty concerning error for Topps. Now, we're not sure if this impacts any other players or it's just related to this one. Common sense would tell you that it more than likely impacts multiple players when you see this kind of mistake happening, in the past with other, duplicates making it out there. But it is a little bit concerning, right? Purely for what this means for the price of the product that's currently out there, but also for the person that maybe hit it first and tried to sell it, sort of screws them over, and just speaks to some fairly glaring QC issues. Now, when people see the mistakes that we've talked about from Panini in recent months, and I'll get to the other topics in a second, but they'll basically say, well, Fanatics is not going to do that, right? Topps is not going to make that mistake. Stuff Panini, we can't wait to see the back of them. This is a further reminder, right, that Topps literally has the same issues that Panini does. Things aren't going to be daisies and roses immediately, right? That you're going to see the same sort of mistakes happening. And it's one of those things where you sort of need to be careful what you wish for, because the contracts that, Topps and Fanatics now have with these leagues are a lot longer than what Panini had in the first place. So, if this stuff does continue down the same trend and they're starting to make the same mistakes, or continue to make the same mistakes, I should say, that Panini do, where does that leave us as customers? Because if you look at what, Fanatics have done with the apparel business, right? Because people talk them up all the time at being so good from the apparel perspective and all the innovation they've brought to that. So we as customers should be excited about what they could do to sports cards. But if you look at that space, there's probably more unhappy customers than there are happy, because the mistakes and the commentary and the feedback and the reviews you're seeing all on social media, all on the internet, essentially anywhere you look from a Fanatics apparel perspective, has a lot of people with bad taste in their mouths, right? People see stuff like this where, all the Jalen Hurts Eagles shirts were misprinted like this, where you see things are essentially at an angle. It's like, what the heck is going on from a QC perspective? And this is one of those things where you've got Michael Rubin coming out and saying, we let people down. This is completely unacceptable. We need to fix this. But then, like I said, you check social media and you get pretty glaring evidence that this is not a one-off thing. That seems to be something that's fairly consistent with Fanatics apparel. Again, so if you're getting these issues from a trading card perspective and people are saying, well, they do really good with apparel, imagine what they can do and fix the mistakes Panini's made. Well, you look here, they've got pretty big errors here. People are unhappy as customers. They're saying the product is cheap, it falls apart after, a couple of washes, or when you get it, it doesn't come out correctly. It's all, crooked, it's got printing issues, all this kind of stuff. It's like, well, if you're going to approach your business the same way you've approached the apparel business, where you've tried to uplift it and create innovation, what does that mean for sports cards? What does that mean for the scarcity of sports cards? What does that mean for me as a consumer, right? Is the product going to be crap? Is it going to be the same as Panini? And I think, and I've always said, yes, the most likely case is going to be the same as Panini. Like, yes, it is exciting to see Fanatics come in and try and change the game, right? Try and do things differently, try and bring innovation. But the concern has always been, if they don't have enough pressure put on them, where are they going to actually make the change? If they can make so much more money by letting things slip, where's the incentive for them to do better, right? Especially in the monopoly environment that they are in. Now, the other point here that I thought was pretty good that I saw a few people call out was, if you read this, you see some pretty concerning comments, especially from people that are influential in the sports card space, because you've got people like Slabstocks that I've talked to in the past as being absolute clowns. They're scammers in the past. I'll talk to that again in a future video if people do want that, but they've screwed people over in the past. They've tried to scam people, right? And they're coming out and saying, well, you love to see this from an owner, which I agree with, but people are sort of circle jerking Michael Rubin and Fanatics here. You've got Dr. Collectible saying, damn right, real recognizes real. You've got Mojo Sports saying, like 100, like basically saying, good job, all this kind of thing for trying to rectify the issue, right? Because like I said, Michael Rubin saying, this is unacceptable, we're going to fix it. But you've got so many people sort of here circle jerking or joining in on the circle jerk with Michael Rubin, when in reality, we need some accountability here because, like I said in my comment, there are mistakes that Topps have already made since Fanatics took control. Not just these duplicate one-of-ones you're seeing here, but as we've talked to before with the Bowman Chrome and Topps Chrome baseball sets, with those cards being backdoored without autographs on there, people putting fake autos on them and then selling them on the second-hand market, ending up in third-party graded slabs, all that kind of stuff. We've not heard a peep from Fanatics on that. My question to Michael Rubin is, well, if you're going to come out and correct this kind of thing, are you only doing it because it was in this, prominent newspaper and people are jumping up and down about it? But where's your comment for the duplicate one-of-ones? Like we just saw. Where's your comment for the backdoored cards? Where's your comment for the rookies that were missing from, the 2022 baseball set? I think it was Bowman Chrome as well, if I remember correctly. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But it's like, where's the commentary for this sort of stuff? Like, where's the incentive for them to be better? There's stuff happening with them as a business right now within cards that is just as bad as what Panini's doing. And they don't even have all the licenses yet. So what do you think is going to happen when they've got more control over everything, when they've got less competition? This is the stuff we need Michael Rubin and Topps to comment on. This whole backdoored card thing, I've not got a comment on from anyone. Cardboard, before their page got taken down, were trying to help me get an answer on this. We had not heard anything. Like, where's the transparency around that kind of thing? That's really alarming because you're sort of not allowing anyone to be across it, which means people are out there committing fraud by selling these fake cards, by selling these fake autos. That's not good enough, Fanatics. That's not good enough, Michael Rubin. That's not good enough, Topps. And the people that are praising Topps, guys, like, what are you doing? Like, I can understand being excited, but there's things that these guys need to fix. And news just in a little bit earlier today from Darren Ravel, they've also now got the rights to WWE cards effective immediately, well, as of 2 weeks ago, because they've pulled the license from Panini, because Panini was apparently in breach of contract. That's another license now that's gone from Panini, which looked like they were doing a pretty good job with the WWE cards based on what I've seen on social media. They've got that now. So they're probably going to get UFC very shortly, you'd imagine, given that they're owned by the same parent company. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they have the basketball license by the end of this year as well. There's no inside information there, but that's the trend we're sort of going, where they're being really ruthless with what it is they're trying to obtain. But the value we're getting as customers right now is not giving me a whole lot of comfort. We talked about this a few weeks ago where we said, well, Fanatics came in, they said they wanted to get rid of redemptions. Well, they've put more redemptions in than what was there previously. They said they were going to come in and get rid of parallels, introduce scarcity back. They've added negative parallels. They've added other parallels. Okay, where are you bringing the value? Topps. You've now had cards get backdoored with fake autos put on it. The athletes themselves have said they did not sign. They've ended up in graded slabs. They've sold on auction houses, exposing all these businesses to your incompetence. You've now got duplicate one-of-ones as well. So it's like, where are things going to get better? Like, yes, you like to think that if everything's onboarded, they have everything from Panini, they have full control, they're going to reassess and revisit things and try and do better. But, if we're not seeing it already, right, and we're already seeing them fumble the ball the way they are, what is the hobby going to look like when they literally have no competition? Now, I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy or I'm doom and glooming, but it's one of those things that we need to be pushing back on as customers. You need to do the same thing with your influencers, like we saw in that post with Michael Rubin, people praising him for coming out and saying that stuff because they basically want his sponsorship money. They want to be in part of that crowd. It's like, guys, you need to trust the people. You need to go with the people that are trying to look out for you as a customer. And the people that are jumping on his back, trying to say you're doing a fantastic job, are not the ones doing that. And I'm not trying to say those people that said Michael Rubin was a good guy and supporting him for all that sort of stuff are bad people. But it's just one of those things we need to make sure that our voice is being heard when we're seeing these mistakes happen, right? If you're putting your grievances towards someone and they're sort of ignoring it, but then taking sponsorship money from this business, then you need to also call that out. I'm not doing a call to action here to go after content creators or influencers or anything like that. I'm just basically saying we have an opportunity now to sort of clean the state, right? Get a clean slate going, I should say. Where you've got Fanatics coming in, they have an opportunity here to sort of launch from a clean platform, make sure that everything that is, a big grievance for us within this hobby, with us as collectors, with us as, breakers, graders, all this kind of thing. We have an opportunity here to have that clean slate. And if we don't push back now, we're going to reach a point where people are still going to be buying just like they were buying for Panini product and sort of ignoring all the BS that we saw, and we're not going to be in a better position. And I just think, those duplicate one-of-ones, that comment from Michael Rubin, now the fact they've also got WWE licenses, all this stuff, this circle jerk we're seeing with everybody jumping on board saying it's fantastic, need to sort of take the blinders off and wake up to themselves, because the path we're going down is not good. And I don't want to be seen as a negative Nancy, like I said, because I'm really excited about the innovation that could come off the back of Fanatics. But this is not a good start, and because it's not a good start, I'm really concerned about where things will be moving forward. So that's it for today, my mini rant. Please, forgive me if I went for too long. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.